वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So today we'll start discussing about the various demons which are killed by Krishna in Vrindavan, what they represent. Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his book called Chaitanya Shikshashtakam or Shikshamrita, there he gives the summary of demons that Krishna has killed in his Vrindavan pastimes. And they represents particular anarthas in our heart. So the first one is Putana. See, when Lord was just like an infant, that time what's his dearmost mama? Who was his dearmost mama? Kansa. He was scared of his life because Yogamaya, when she appeared and she said that, hey, the person who's supposed to kill you, he is already born. So there is no option for you. You are going to get killed by him. And he is there safely wherever he is supposed to be. So what he did, he ordered that all the kids who are recently born, just kill them. And that task was given to demoness Putana. She was known as a Khechari. Khe means sky and Chara means who travels. Who travels in the sky, she is known as a Khechari. So Putana was a demoness who had particular perfection that she has attained, which is known as flying in air. So she was traveling through air and she was killing all the small kids who were born within a week or month. And that's why she is known as Putana, who was not at all pure. She was so demoniac actually, just killing the infants. Even the infants or small kids of animals, they look more attractive and people get affectionate to them. And here this demoness was so cruel that she was killing all the beautiful infants who had just born. And as you know how Krishna has killed her. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes in his commentary on this particular pastime, he says that the pseudo-guru, which may be either a person or one's own conditioned mind, that is represented by Putana. Now let's discuss upon these two particular things. One is pseudo-guru. Pseudo-guru means who pretend to be as a spiritual master. And presently we see so many personalities, they claim themselves as a spiritual personalities. They make their own followers. But what is their agenda behind whole propaganda, what they do? First of all, they introduce themselves as a spiritual personality. When they get few of their disciples, then they start thinking that they are Baba or Sadhu. After becoming Baba or Sadhu, then they become Maharaj. After becoming Maharaj, then they become Bhagavan. They call themselves as a Bhagavan. They try to become the Lord. And if you go and ask them directly, then what they say? Oh, actually, I am not a God. But my disciples, they think me as a God. Or if you are not God, then you protest for that. No? Like when Prabhupada, he came to US, he saw so many Eastern personalities, they came here to preach about the gospel of Vedic literature. But all they had the same mentality. First introduce themselves as a spiritual personality, then spiritual master, and then again, ultimately, Bhagavan. So these are pseudo-gurus. And they are represented by Putana. Because Putana also what she did? She came and introduced herself as a affectionate lady who has paternal love for Krishna. And she wanted to breastfeed baby Krishna. But what was her intention? Her cruel intention was to kill Krishna. So same way these pseudo-spiritual masters, they claim themselves as a spiritual personality, and there they wanted to kill the existence of God, claiming themselves as a God. That's the whole nonsense actually. Then how to come over this? To come over this particular anartha, what we have to do, that we have to take shelter of a proper disciplic succession. And by doing so, it becomes easy to make progress in our Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. And second thing is one's own conditioned mind. What is the conditioning of our mind? As explained in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, every conditioned soul thinks himself as a Ishwaroham, Aham Bhogi, Siddhoham, Balavan Sukhi. I am the controller, Ishvara. Aham Bhogi, I am the enjoyer. Siddhoham, I am the perfect person. Balavan, I am the powerful person. And Sukhi, I am the happiest person. That is our conditioning. We claim ourselves like that. But do we are? Are we Ishvara? No. But being conditioned in this material body, we lose our real identity. And what is our real identity? Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nityananda. The eternal Swarupa or constitutional position of Jiva is the servant of Krishna. But when we lose this identification, then we should remember that we are under the influence of Putana. And only Krishna can kill Putana. So what one has to do? Kalikale Namarupe Krishna Vata. In this age of Kali, Lord Krishna has descended in the form of holy name. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Shikshashtaka, he gives more emphasis on chanting the holy name of God. The first verse itself gives the clear indication about what are the results of chanting the holy name. The first and foremost thing happens when we chant the holy name of Lord, that is Cheto Darpana Marjana. That cleanses the Darpana, mirror of our heart. It cleanses our mind. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapana. It extinguishes the fire of material existence. Then Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitarana. What is the meaning of this particular word? Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitarana. बोलो दादा ठीक आप नहीं बोलो तारपरे आम्ही बोलो श्रेयः कैरव चंद्रिका वितरण. Chandrika, they call moon as a Chandrika, but which moon? Have you seen Lord Shiva? He also having a moon on his head. What's the shape of that moon? It's a full moon. It's half. It's like a Ashtami Tithi if you see moon in the sky. That moon is known as a Chandrika. And that moon gives more coolness than anything else. And that's why Lord Shiva, he holds that on his head. So Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, that moonlight, that coolness of moonlight that comes in your heart when you chant the holy name of God. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. And this chanting of the holy name is what? Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Like a newly married girl, when she comes to in-laws' house, she has given more care and concern. She is considered she becomes like a center of attraction. So amongst the all knowledge, what is the center of attraction? It's the holy name of God. Jivanam. That's the life of each and every one. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam. And what happens then? Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Ambudhi means ocean. Ocean of happiness. What happens? Vardhanam. It increases. Have you seen this ocean? It increases. When? High tide and low tide. But still it has its own limits of high tide also. It never goes beyond that. But the ocean of happiness that you get after chanting the holy name is Vardhanam. It's keep growing. It does not have any limits. It's a limitless. Pratipadam at each and every step. Purna Amrita Swadana. And it gives you the satisfaction of having a nectar. Even nectar has some material difficulties, some material forms. But the holy name or Namamrita, it does not have any material contamination. Like when Shukadeva Goswami was explaining the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, all the demigods, they came along with the Amrita Kumbha and then said, Shukadeva Goswami, you give this to Parikshit and Parikshit will become immortal. And you give us Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami said, this Amrita is useless thing. God's got furious. They said, how you can say this Amrita is useless thing? He said, yeah. She said, we endeavor so much. We have burnt our blood. We fought with the demons to get this Amrita, and you are saying it is useless. How it is useless? Then Shukadeva Goswami told him how it is useless. He said, one thing, it is sarpochishta. Because this Amrita is stored in somewhere in a patala, they have that big tank, where all these snakes, they put their face inside there, their mouth inside it, they are drinking it. So it is sarpochishta, it is already like a remnants or chuta of snakes. Second thing, it gives you material discomfort. He said, how come? If you drink this Amrita, then your body becomes immortal. And because of that, even your son, grandson, granddaughter, they may die, but you still live on. And what's the use of living you if you are not ever having to have your family who can continuously enjoy with you? So in one sense, this drinking of nectar is useless. Second thing, he said, it's better. Nobody is there who has drink Amrita and become immortal, at least in this present age of Kali. Otherwise, they will take him into the operation theatre and they will turn him and try to check it out how he is surviving still. He said, that way, this Amrita is useless for us. And Namamrita, it gives you an eternal happiness, which you can't get anywhere. And by taking shelter of that holy name, one can come over this particular weakness of heart or unearth of the heart, which is known as a Bhuta. Then the next demon, do you know who was this next demon who got killed by Krishna? Shakatasura. Do you know who is that Shakatasura? Shakat means cart, which is driven by bull. So there was some ceremony was going on at the home, and there was too much of noise. So Mother Yashoda thought that, let my baby Krishna take rest under the cart, so that he will be not bothered by the other movements of the people at the house. So he was put under the cart, and all the children, they were around there. And Yashoda Maya told them, she looked at Balaram and she said, Balaram, take care of your brother. He's here. You are elder one, so please take care of our baby. So Balaram said, yeah, I'm here. No worries, Mom. And then along with his friends, he was just surrounded that cart and they were playing around. But at the same time, one demon who had the body of air, he came and he entered in that cart. So these demons whom Krishna has killed, they were not the ordinary personality. They were not ordinary demons like the Kali Yuga demons. They were really powerful. They can take any form. They can enter into any material thing and make that thing alive. So this Asura, he entered into Shakata, that cart. Krishna. He is God at all the stages of his life, at all his incarnation. He is God. There is no difference. And God is omniscient, omnipresent. So he was knowing everything. He was all cognizant. A proper word that Prabhupada used. All cognizant. Who knows each and everything. And he came to know that here is Shakatasura, who has come here with the intention to kill me. So what he did then? Like a small kids, if you put them on the ground, they start playing with their hands. Huh? They start kicking in the air. So same way, Lord, he knew that this Shakatasura is presented here in the form of an air, so he kicked him in his chest. And the whole cart got shattered. And there was a tumultuous noise. Everyone that left their work in hand, and they start running toward where Krishna is lying down. And all the kids, they were surprisingly looking how this small baby had just kicked this cart and the whole cart got shattered into pieces. So Mother Yashoda and all other ladies, they came, they took Krishna in their hand, they took him aside, they started chanting Narayan Kavacha, they took the cow's tail and started, what they can say, Jhada. They don't have a word in English because they don't do that. तो झाड़ा करने लगी, to take out that evil energy. And then they asked me, what happened? Then kids, they started saying, you know, Mom, Krishna, he just kicked that cart and cart got broken. Then everyone started laughing at them, what these kids are saying. Krishna is so small, how he can kill that demon? Or how he can break that cart? Because they were not knowing that there is a demon inside. And he got killed. In Garga Samhita, they have written about his past life. Who was he in his past life? Actually, he was one of the sons of Hiranyakashipu, who intended to kill Lord Narasimha because he saw that his father got killed. So in this pastime, when he came to know that Krishna is none other than that same person who appeared as a Narasimha, so he came in disguise to kill Krishna. But ultimately Krishna, as he knows everyone, he liberated him. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes about this Shakatasura, the cart demon, what it represents, which anartha that he represents in our heart. Can you guess? Envy? No. The tendency to carry the cart load of a bad habits accumulated in this life and previous life. And he also represents lethargy and dullness. What's the speed of bullock cart? 200 per miles per hour. 200 miles per hour. It goes like that. Huh? That fast cart, bullock cart. Huh? It's very slow. So same way, when we have a tendencies to work out with the things with laziness and dullness, that represents this Shakatasura. Carrying the cart load of our bad habits that we have developed in this life and in previous life. That tendency is known as a Shakatasura. Everyone has that because they say that habit die hard. Why they say it? What's the spelling of habit? Habit. That is what habit. When you remove H of that, what remains? A bit. Means little bit. If you remove that A also, then what remains? Bit. Huh? When you remove that B also, what remains? It. So habit die hard. So same way, whatever bad habits that we have cultivated in this lifetime, and there are so many. How many of you really know that what are the bad habits that do you have? We don't know. Why? Because our thinking is that I don't have any bad habit. I never drink, I never eat this, I never eat that. But that are the grossly bad habits that we have. But there are few things that we are carrying for lifetimes, which we really do not know about that. Then how to work out with this? कहाँ हो वो सर? ऑफिस में तो पानी. So habit die hard, and it need to be worked out. Especially when we take Krishna consciousness, and when we really seriously start working on our sadhana, then we come to know that what are the bad habits that we are carrying with us. Generally in the material education, they teach when you go to learn something in a master, you want to do your masters in business administration and etc. Then they teach you this SWOT analysis. Have you heard about SWOT analysis? No. SWOT analysis means SWOT. SWOT. S for strength, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. This analysis not just only for developing your business or developing your career, but it is meant to develop yourself. You should know what are your strengths, how you can work out with them. Then you should know about your weaknesses. And these weaknesses means bad habits. And that need to be worked out to make a tangible progress in our spiritual life. Otherwise, maybe lifetimes we may endeavor to make a progress in spiritual life and we don't work on the anarthas or these particular bad habits, then it's become just like something imaginary that we are following. Then there's the next anartha, which is represented by the next demon killed by Krishna. Who was the next one who got killed by Krishna? When Krishna was like just 1 month years old or maybe 3 months years old. When he started turning over, generally at 3rd month baby start turning over. Trinavarta, whirlwind. He came And he saw that Krishna is playing, or Krishna is in the courtyard. Mother kept him there and she ran inside to do something. And that time, this demon came and he took Krishna and he flew in the air more than 10,000 feet. And as Krishna was flowing with him, what he did? Because generally if you go above 40 meters, then oxygen start becoming very rare. You won't get a proper supply of oxygen. You have to carry oxygen cylinder with. And here, thousands of feet up in the sky, Trunavata took Krishna. And there itself then Trunavata understood that this guy is not a common person. If another baby would have been there, it would have died just by 2-3 drills only. And this baby is holding my throat and coming up with me. And on top of that, it's smiling at me. So Trunavata was totally bewildered. And then what Krishna did? He just choked up his throat. And Trunavata lost his life. From all the way of thousands of feet, he fell down on the earth. And his head got totally smashed. And happily, Krishna was sitting on his chest. Mother Yashoda and everyone, they ran towards him. And they saw a huge body of Trunavata lying on the earth. And again, all they started praying to Lord Narayana. By the mercy of Lord Narayana, our son got saved. But they were not knowing that this is the source of all Narayanas. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, this demon, which is known as a Trunavata, the whirlwind demon, he represents the false pride arising from material scholarship, which gives rise to bogus philosophies, wrangling debates and arguments, dry reasoning and dry logical indulgence in the association of a people who are attached to such a thing. It produces controversy which is disloyal to the path of pure bhakti. So Trunavata means, sometimes we say, na, देखो चढ़ रहा है अभी हवा में उड़ रहा है वो, huh? Means what? He has become so puffed up. The person when becomes puffed up, he only goes into air. So here, this Trunavata, he took their lordship into the air, up into the sky. So this particular tendency of acquiring material knowledge and scholarship, through which people, they claim themselves as a big erudite scholars. But what's the use of that scholarship which causes dry arguments? Dry logical indulgence. Unnecessarily, they will read something and they will try to give their own interpretation. And there are so many people you can see around the world. They have their own concept of Vedic philosophy and they wanted to put it forward for the other people to follow. And that bogus philosophy creates disturbance in our pure devotional path. Like Mayavadi people, they give lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like a useless. Why? Because they don't have any right to speak anything on Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is none other than the wonderful narrations of Lord's pastime with his devotees. And their conception of God is impersonal. If Lord does not have any bodily parts, huh, then how he can perform pastimes? So the impersonal feature of the Lord coming. So the impersonal feature of the Lord does not have any bodily parts, any limbs, then how he can perform the pastimes? And how then these people have a authority to speak on the pastimes of the Lord who are like the impersonalists? And they are erudite scholars of the Vedas, but their scholarship will not help them to develop love for God. Why? It is said, because of dry speculation and knowledge, your heart becomes hard. Your heart becomes hard. And in the hard heart, it's very difficult to sow the seed of devotional service. And that's why these Shushka Tarkavadis, these logicians with a dry speculation, are always considered useless to do devotional service to the Lord. And this particular anartha is represented by Trinavat. So today we'll stop it here, and tomorrow we'll discuss about other demons who got killed by Krishna and what anarthas they represent. So today we have seen Putana, what she represents. Bolon Dada. Yes. Pseudo Guru. I spoke more about like 7 minutes on that. Pseudo Guru and conditioned mind. That is what is represented by Putana. Got it? Or should I explain it again? Dada ki holo? What about Shakatasura? What it represents? Cart load of bad habits that we carry in this life and from the previous life. And what about Trinavarta? Actually, I'm not a good speaker who can speak properly. False pride, which comes out of material scholarship. Oh, I have done this PhD, I have done this, that sort of education. I am materially so much educated, academically I am so big. All that sort of a scholarship that brings a false pride. And that false pride kills your real identity. Our process is das, das, anudas. And when you have this scholarship, then what do you think? Boss, boss, and boss. Huh? I'm superior to everyone because I know so much. That what represented by Pranava. So what was Putana? Dhongi Guru. Kula Guru. Noter Guru. Noter Guru. Not Kula Guru. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki